Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to review The Forgetting by Sharon. It's a dystopian YA novel that was written about 5 to 4 years ago, so I'm kind of late. But this YouTuber had it in her TBR and I wanted to try it as well, so I did. So this will actually be a spoilery review, so if you don't like spoilers, I'm going to go ahead and give you my rating for the book right now so you can click away if you don't want to hear the rest of it. Now, I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I rated it kind of high because I know how hard it is to actually write a book and keep all the characters and elements organized and free of plot holes. It's very hard to do, so I kind of like to grade generously. Now, I docked it a half star for pacing, and this isn't like a personal thing. It was literally everybody. There are people in the reviews on Amazon telling other people like which page to get to into the action. So it was a valid point that the book kind of dragged. But the other star I docked it was because of some things that didn't make sense. You're asking your readers to suspend their belief a little bit too much. So the 3 points that had me suspending my belief a little bit too much was the wall that everyone was forbidden to cross over, the forgetting that happened once every 12 years and caused everyone to lose their memories, and the law, which was a heavily stigmatized group of people who became the society's slaves pretty much because they lost their books. So very quickly, let's talk about this wall. Now, you've heard of the snowflake main character, which is to say that this main character is so special that they're the only person who can figure things out. So in all of 12 years, let's say there's a forgetting that occurs and you have 12 years the society has to kind of figure things out. In all of those 12 years, no one has the gumption to hop over that wall, disobey the law and hop over that wall, except the main character. Like, nobody. Just her. And the book makes it clear that this is a frequent occurrence for her. So now let's talk about the forgetting, which happens every 12 years and everyone's memories are completely wiped. Apparently you still know how to read, which it comes in handy because the only thing that ties you to the person you were or the person you are is this book you keep on you at all times. It's kind of like a journal that you just write in at the very least once a day that you can refer back to after you've forgotten everything except how to read and to do your job. See, now that's the part that doesn't make sense, and I feel like it's explained, but it's not well explained. You can remember the ins and outs of your job, but you can't remember the guy you had 6 kids with, or those kids. Crazy, right? I know. So then they do eventually find a cure for the forgetting, but some people don't want to remember. I guess that part is believable, but I feel like it's just unhelpful for everyone not to remember the things they did. Especially Jonathan. He has requested that he does not want to remember anything. The only thing about that is it would imply that he's completely comfortable with people around him remembering how he tortured them. He just doesn't remember how he tortured them. If it were me and I was like so remorseful, I would want to remember. That way I can go to them and apologize. And I would also understand why I'm getting punched in the face every 3 days. So now let's talk about the lost. So as I've said, that if you wake up from a forgetting without your book, you are considered lost. And you have to do all the dirty work of the society. I don't think you have any rights, and people just don't like you. There's a lot of abuse going on in those situations there among the lost, and honestly it doesn't make sense because throughout the book we never see like an advocate for the lost. And you know, in this society and everything, there's always an advocate for the least of these. There's always an advocate for the downtrodden. It doesn't really make sense for there to be no one trying to help the lost. As I've stated in my other video, that there are people going around making other people lost on purpose. That doesn't make sense either because multiple people would have written them down in their books. And so if you steal someone's book to make them lost, are you also going around to every other person making sure that they don't have that person in their book? Are you erasing the evidence of this person ever existing? is no one drawing pictures? No one can draw? Skill of drawing and painting would seem like a very sought after skill, because as a society we have this problem where we can't remember anything and we can't remember people. So we need to start commissioning portraits so that we can remember what our children look like. You shouldn't have to go around and say, oh, I think you're my kid. Oh, hi little boy, I think you belong to me. It's not creepy at all. That way, if someone does become lost or they do lose their book on accident in the chaos, or if there's some nefarious dealings going on behind the scenes and they lose their book on purpose, you can go and find them with the pictures. So you see, the reader has to suspend their belief way too much, because there would be someone advocating for the lost. There would be someone trying to reconcile the loss with their families. There would be something trying to solve the problem of not remembering what people look like by drawing them. Lost does not make sense. So sometime during the book, you find out that people who pioneered that planet are from Earth. But these people are just their descendants, and they're humans, and they're not on Earth. And they can send a signal to Earth, but they're refusing to do so now because they want to preserve what was meant to be a utopia. Human greed, or earthly greed, if they call it back Earth, would kind of jeopardize the utopia. So at this point, humans can travel about 1 trillion light years per 1 Earth year. So I'm assuming the technology has advanced, even though in the dystopian society, there's like, they don't even know what tech is, but when they go over the wall, they find a ship. And that's how the main character and the love interest find out about human greed, and somehow they think they will be above it. How this dystopian society was created was they took a group of humans, I think 150, and they shipped them to this new planet, but they took the best of the best. And so what we see in the dystopian society, the descendants of the best, and you still have things like murder getting in, you still have things like sexual assault getting in, and you still have things like the lost getting in, so oppression. I think the whole Project Canon thing pretty much proves that you cannot have a utopian society, that it's only going to create a dystopian society, and that you will not be above human greed. Is when they decide not to send the signal to prevent humans coming back to canon and harvesting this rare material for money. Okay, it's because they just want to preserve the simple way of life. But then, at the end of the book, you have the main character wanting to go out because she wants something more to strive for. And I'm like, well, that right there is why a utopia is impossible. Because as long as you're not satisfied just living in harmony with your community, and just working with your hands and living this simple life, and you want more to strive for, that is going to introduce the element of greed and insatiability that all humans have to struggle with. I couldn't believe that ending concept, like, you know, this ain't gonna work. So much for not sending the signal. So that's gonna wrap up my review for The Forgetting. I'm still gonna rate it a 4 out of 5 stars because it fits that category very well. The author did a bang up job really encompassing the dystopian novel as we have come to know it through things like The Hunger Games and Insurgents. The author did do a good job doing that. My TBR is pretty extensive for October, and so if you would like more reviews, just like and subscribe so you can see those as soon as I post them. Thanks for watching. Bye!